Exactly. Well, as the battle is raging on in Washington, Peter Schiff of Euro-Pacific Capital is taking his argument against raising taxes on the wealthy to the streets. In today's Wall Street Journal, he writes, the fantasy of a 91% top income tax rate. And Peter says taxing the wealthy simply will not work. And the attention should be on spending cuts.
Yeah, but Richard Brodsky of Demos says he's got it wrong. Both join us now and kind of hash it out here. And Richard, what about that? I mean, it's a fair question. We so much focus on the revenue side of this argument, the tax increases or whatever is going to come out of that deal, but the discussion hasn't really gone to the spending side so much.
Look, Peter has a political loser in the sense that the president isn't going to agree to that, but he's also got a bad economic argument. We have run out of supply side economics as a model for how to fix this economy. We need to put $1,000 in the hands of 100 families rather than $100,000 in the hands of one family. You got to stimulate demand by putting cash in the hands of people who are going to buy things. When we tax the rich, we do not really affect the demand side. Supply side is over. The president knows it. People in the United States know it. Peter hasn't figured it out yet.
Peter, do you care to rebuff?
Of course he does.
Well, first of all, it's supply that creates demand. Just printing money and giving it to the middle class so that they can spend it isn't going to create an economic growth. We need purchasing power. We need productivity. But raising taxes on the top 2%, look, they're already paying more than their fair share, and increasing taxes on that group isn't going to solve the problem. We do need to dramatically cut government spending, and if we fail to do that, then we're going to have to increase taxes dramatically on the middle class. You see, the fiscal cliff is just a small down payment on paying the piper. We have to pay for all this government. The big mistake was growing government.
Settled out in the election. And although there's a room for balance, I don't say Peter's wrong entirely. The fact of the matter is that the top 2% are not paying their fair share. The American people don't think so, and the numbers don't add up. If you want a deal here,
wait a minute,
you're going to have to raise the rates, and then if you want to talk about spending cuts, as I think the president will eventually do, you'll see a last-minute agreement.
First of all, yeah, I'm in the top 2%. Right now, I'm paying 45% of my total income in income taxes, both to the state of Connecticut and the federal government, and if you take the 3% Medicare tax. After the tax hikes go into effect next year, more than half of my total income is going to go to the government. Now, you tell me, what's fair about that? When medieval serfs paid 25%, I'm paying half, and I don't care, excuse me, I don't care what the majority voted to do. They don't have a right to steal my money just because they vote for it.
I'll tell you what the problem is. We're in a crisis. We're in a crisis caused by the Bush policies, unfunded wars, tax cuts we couldn't afford, and we got to dig our way out. In the process of digging our way out, the president is saying that the wealthiest are most able to contribute to that workout.
But it's not going to dig us out. It's not going to dig us out just raising the taxes on the wealthy.
It is not going to dig us out alone.
It's a very, very, very small and minor drop in the ocean in the grand scheme of things.
You know what the wealthy are going to do? They're going to invest more abroad. They're not going to work as hard. They're not going to pay as much in taxes. They're not going to employ as many people. Their employees aren't going to pay the taxes. Look,
they didn't do that when
Barack
Dwight
Obama got a mandate to steal from the rich and give to people who
voted
voted for him. It's not going to work.
Rich people will not do that. They're going to do what's right.
Oh, yes, they will.
We can go back to the Clinton rates. We can go back to the Eisenhower rates, raise substantial revenues. And yes, I don't want to make it sound like the spending cuts are not on the table.
We're going to have to break it up here. We're going to have to rise above.
Pencils down, everybody.
Okay.
I feel like we've risen above, don't you? I don't know. Are we any closer now? I don't think so.
Do you feel any higher than you were before? I don't know, but
yeah, I know.
We'll try.
But that in a nutshell,
late on a Friday afternoon.
That in a nutshell is what's going on in Washington right now as well.